Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to manually install Mautic 2.15.0. It's the newest version as of January 2nd, 2019, and I will try to, on a quarterly basis, update these videos so that you're working with the absolutely newest version, because one thing that frustrates me about the Mautic community is there is so many old resources that don't help anybody. Alright. So in this video, you're going to learn how to go download Mautic from mautic.org, how to upload it to your cPanel hosting, how to create a MySQL database for your Mautic install, how to get an auto-generated Ssl certificate from cPanel. I'm going to use a free one. If you want to go buy one, if it's your main business domain, that's not a bad idea. Free ones and paid ones, same technology, same security. So that's not a big thing to rush into. And then I'm going to show you how to run the installer and actually get the thing set up. So you're going to have an HTTPS subdomained Mautic install that you'll be ready to work with. This is going to be the major demo site for all my fundamental tutorials, because I think you need something that's clean so you don't see my mess and my learning process on my personal site, and I can keep my customers' info private because I don't think they'd appreciate it much. So follow along. Here we go. Alright, so after that spectacular intro, let's get right into this. We're installing Mautic manually. So the first thing you're going to want is a subdomain. I talked about this in the Softaculous install video, but I've since come to feel that Softaculous does a less good job than a manual install. I'm going to create a subdomain called info.wouldlooklikethis.com. You can call it whatever you want. Depending on your host, they'll fill this out differently. Again, you could change this if you wanted. So it's going to be your home directory on your hosting. And then, so this is outside the public HTML. Some hosts want to put subdomains inside that public HTML directory. I hate that. If it's up to me, I never, ever do that. As it allows it to be too touchable app to app. Anyways, so there we go. Good enough. Successfully created. Like I said in the intro, you will need an Ssl certificate. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click down to SSL TSL. We're going to click that Run Auto SSL. This could take up to 5 minutes. And we'll come back to check on whether that's in place as soon as we can. So then we're going to go to the File Manager. Now you could do this with an FTP, and if you'd like to do this with an FTP, and that's something you're interested in seeing a video for, I will show you where to download a great open source FTP client, and we can do that. But for me, I'm going to do this manually. So I come to here. What I'm looking for now is to upload the install Mautic. If you haven't got that already, well, go forget it. So that's going to mautic.org. It'll change it to HTTPS, and you're going to end up here. You're going to click download. They're going to ask for a little bit of information. You can just provide that. They will put you on their list when you do this. I gave them my first name, my last name, my email address. I don't think I gave it a role or a country. They're probably tracking that by your IP anyways, so it doesn't matter that much. But you will be downloading 2.15.0 if you download it January 1st, 2019 or later. It might even be a newer version when you get to this. And I will try to get these updated once every quarter so that you can just see what's new and find out a little bit more about your Mautic install. Alright, so we've downloaded it. We're going to come back to the File Manager. We're going to click on Upload. Opens another window for that. You can just put your files there. I gotta go find it. And so I'm just dragging it over. It downloads as 2.15 15.0.zip. There we go. That's 46.60 megabytes. So it's not that huge a file. It should be pretty quick if you have decent internet. Bam, hits up. I jump back here. I hit reload. And there's the file. I think it was actually already there, but if you've worked in this file manager, clicking reload before you do anything is always a good habit to get into. Now that we've highlighted it, I'm going to click extract. I want it to extract right here in this directory. And so we're going to extract files. So now the PHP half of this game is in place. We are ready to start the installer, except that we don't have a database yet. So let's go build that database. So we can close this file manager. Now we go to the MySQL database wizard. You could do this by building a database separately right here and then adding a user. But I'm not going to do that because I don't have any good reason to do it more manually. I don't have any reason to need to supply the same user to a couple databases, and I could do that after the fact if I wanted anyways. So I'm going to click MySQL. You need to give it a database name. I'm going to call it MA_251. is just a number I picked randomly. It doesn't really matter. I just needed a number for my own gusto. The truth is you could write Mautic here. You could write whatever you wanted. You could write marketing automation. As long as it's less than 50 characters, go crazy. Now, I like to name the database the same as the user. This is what it is. I don't think it really matters in most circumstances. And then I would basically always generate a password. Come in here, go to advanced options, change this to 18 and make sure it was both uppercase and lowercase and special characters and numbers. Then I hit generate. I'm not going to use this password because I don't need somebody hacking this before I get home. Again, I'm going to make sure this is what I wanted it to be. There's the password in place. This is one that I know, so I don't want to save. Look at me with all the things trying to save it. Yeah. Thank you. So I want all the privileges. You may decide that you don't want this user to have the drop privilege. It's a conversation you have to have with yourself. The reason you take this away is because if somebody finds an exploit that allows them to do an SQL injection attack on your site, this could theoretically allow them to actually kill your database, which would include all your emails and all your extra stuff. So it isn't a terrible idea, but I had an issue not that long ago, and I don't even remember what piece of software it was now, that not giving full rights caused me a little bit of a headache, so I'm not going to do it. And I'm going to trust that the software will stay secure. So from here, we now have a database. We're set up there. The last thing we're going to check on is whether that Ssl certificate was got from cPanel. So we go look, yep, info's got it. If you are really concerned, you can go here and you can view. Oh, good, it's good till April 3rd. Yeah, I'm just making sure it wasn't March 4th. And so we're good to go. Got all your details. This certificate is good enough. The actual technical security between this one and any other free one is only measured by how much it encrypts. but I wouldn't worry too much about buying a certificate at this point, as the actual technology itself functions exactly the same with the purchased ones as it does with a free one. And so once it's in place, you're a lot more secure. Google likes you better. All the browsers like you better. It's just going to make your day better to have one. And it's just a best practice to set up everything secure now if you can. So we are at the point where we are ready to go to our domain. So I'm going to jump in here so I can copy paste this. And so we'll just go to here. And so this is where we are headed. So I've got no warnings. That's a win. You know what? I'm going to go back here. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to go to my multi-PHP manager. It's currently on PHP 7.1, but I'm going to actually make my default for the system 7.2 in the future. I'm going to apply it to this one right now, though, because I want to install in 7.2. I'm just going to refresh this. Boom, the installer is still happy. I'm going to go to the next step. So I'm going to use MySQL PDO because it's the recommended one. I have no reason to go to MySQL. If somebody out there in YouTube land is watching this video and has a good reason why not to, lay her on me. The developers suggest PDO. I, as a developer, prefer to work with PDO. So, honestly, I'm just going to stick with what it is. I'm going to choose that. I'm going to choose that. So, this is what we made the database when we created it. This prefix is a best practice. But I want you to think about adding a database prefix the same way here as you would when doing it on WordPress. It's kind of like painting the door of your house the same color as the siding, in hopes that a thief can't find the door to break in. Just most attacks this would matter so little that this is a security measure in the least sense of the word. No, it is a best practice, so we're going to do it. I don't want you to rely on that as some way of keeping your database safe. Because I think too often, especially new users, get into a position where that's what they think. So I'm going to paste my password for this database in, the same one that I provided earlier. And then I'm going to click next step. It's going to verify the database works. And there we go. And once again, I don't want to save any of these. Just for this, normally I use my email, whatever email that I'm associating with the install. But I'm going to just call this one demo admin. Because this is a demo site, I'm going to use it for almost all my examples until I get into the really heavy stuff. When I get to the heavy stuff, you aren't going to see me log in ever again anyways. And then for this, I use a generated password. I use a site called passwordsgenerator.net. Make the password stupid long, just to keep myself random and good. And I strongly suggest you do the same thing and get yourself a password manager. And then you pound in your email address here. I'm going to put one in, and you're going to see me on the next step. So I'm going to click next step, and when I come back, that's what. So we're back to this, and I know that was just a flash for you. I could honestly set right now this to Q and this to Amazon SES, but I don't have credentials set up instantly to put in, and I can do this later. So I'm just leave this as send immediately in queue, but we are going to change the configuration, and you can follow along with my configuration video to find out how to do that once Mautic is fully installed. So I'm going to go next step. And we should end up at the login. So that is the username I want. Oh, that is not the username I want. That is the username I might have used. And I might have used in the previous example, but I've already deleted that example of Mautic. So here we go. And you can click Keep Me Logged In if you want. We're in. I'm not going to save this. And we are ready to go. And so that is how you manually install Mautic. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, make sure you put them below. If this video was helpful, give me a thumbs up. If you want more videos kind of down this vein, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to continue along on this journey and learn how all the rest of this stuff works, make sure you subscribe. Thank you very much, and I love you guys.